Hi. Hey, this is Aunt Jeanette,
And this is me, Sean, the one and only.
and this is our podcast, Take a Fool's Advice, where we just sit and really kick it and discuss things of life, things that we've been through, experiences, and hoping that you will learn from our mistakes and do better.
Exactly. And like I said, all the feedback that you can give, all the support you brothers been giving us, we really appreciate. Brothers and sisters been giving us, we really appreciate. We want to broaden the audience, of course. I'm serious about this, and Jeanette is serious about this, and it ain't gonna stop because I'm not gonna stop. You gonna stop?
Nope, ain't gonna stop, can't stop, won't stop.
Or but last week we were dealing with my incarceration. I kind of blanked out. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm hoping that we don't have none now, but if we do, I'm gonna get it right, y'all. Trust me. But we were talking about my incarceration, and I also was talking about the young guys, how their mentality, uh, they're smart guys, but they really don't think about the consequence. And I think that's what we all lack as teenagers or as young men and women. Patience is a virtue. So, and we don't learn that until we're in a situation where we have to use patience. You know, um, basically, I want to say that anyone who is currently out there going through a situation where they're either about to go to prison or they headed that way, the advice for those that's about to go to prison is nothing like the streets. Nothing like the streets. And I've been there several times, and I'm gonna tell you, it plays mind tricks on me. It plays mind tricks every time I go in. And only been in twice, but you would think I've thought after the first time it would get a little better, a little different, but it's worse. My 2 years was worse than my 20 years. I'm gonna be real with you. And there's several reasons why, but the point I'm making is the environment changed because I had stayed out for like 6, 7 years. So the environment had changed. Um, you know, uh, and going into there, it's a lot of things that you're gonna have to deal with. You're gonna deal with guys who may think you soft, start stealing your stuff, where you might be short and they know you short, meaning you get ready to go home soon, and they think, well, we can do that and that. I'm seeing guys lose their parole and get natural life who were going home. I've seen guys who uh, got killed before they went home. So I've seen a lot of stuff inside prison, and by the grace of God, that's the only reason I can say I made it. You know, uh, there's a lot of taboo things about prison too that I want to discuss. It's prevalent to say that a guy like me who's done so much time, many people question, you know, weak-minded people question, you know, your sexuality, or they question, how did you do this? How did you do that? But believe it or not, homosexuality is taboo for the most guys in prison. There's not a lot of guys lurking into that environment, especially a lot of guys I did a lot of time with. In fact, you would get ostracized. It wasn't.
But is it the same temptations? Because I don't know, but I would think there's like trans in there, transgender people in there that look like women. So from what I've heard is that some of the guys they can be married on the outside or be some of the toughest guys on the inside outside, but when they in there, they adapt to that life that's in there and might have a wife in there.
Well, they call that gay for the stack. And then you got, but like I said, I come from an era, or I come from a background where if you gay, you gay, meaning that you just don't go in prison and just start practicing homosexuality. That means deep in your subconscious, this type of thing is lurking. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have to worry about nobody trying to rape me, but I was cut into. I had a couple of guys who cut into me because I was young, smiling, goofy, running around the yard, and they're not on the raw tip. They're on the, can I get you something to eat? Oh man, you got that. They're gonna comfort you. They're gonna soothe you as if they were a female. And I never forget this. I was at Carson City, and I had a partner there, old head partner, and it was a sissy that was there, and he kept trying to be cool with me. I was friendly with him, meaning that I spoke and everything. I didn't, I'm not homophobic or, you know, against people who choose their sexuality like that. But the guy kept pursuing me, wanting to cook up and want me to come down to his room and play cards and all this stuff. And I wouldn't do nothing.
What you mean want to cook up?
Meaning that you got two type of people. You got people that can't afford food in there, and you got people that got some money and food. And so I didn't have money and all that, but I always had me a little food. So they were like, hey, why don't you ain't got to bring none of your stuff. I got you.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
So
Right.
that's what you want to cook my food.
I got you because I want to get you.
Exactly.
Right.
But like I said, me giggling about it, they thought, I guess I was, but I'm just trying, I don't know what to do. I ain't never had a man try to act like he didn't just fly out talking about what he wanted. But my friend I was telling you about, my old head partner, and then he was like, man, I don't know why you running around here playing. You had to ask for your hookup back from him. I said, what? Yeah, you got to ask for your hookup back. He out cold. And just my stomach. He was one of them down low guys, whatever you want to call it.
But what do you mean you got to ask for your hookup back?
Meaning that my man do his thing so good that you got to ask for it back. Sexually, meaning why he's sucking you, That's some freaky stuff he said. I know he just basically said, he's so out cold, you got to ask for it back. He won't stop. You know what I'm saying? As far as how the sexuality stuff. And I never forget when my first day on the yard. Well, let me give you a recap of going into prison.
Yeah, because I want the last question I wanted to ask you. The last podcast that we did was, so after everything had happened, where did you go? I mean, what was your mind state? Where did you go?
You talking about when I caught my case on the streets?
Yeah, well, with Corey. Yeah, that night that happened. Right after it happened, what was your mind? Because you couldn't have knew that couldn't knew he was gone. He was,
Listen, it's crazy you said that. Wow, listen. There's an old saying that the person always the criminal always come back to the scene of the crime. I came back. Listen, I was so gone. My right-handed guy. I didn't even think I could have killed him. I was so mad and gone. I was mad at the time. I wasn't thinking about it. So I drove and got my car, because I parked my car on another side of the street. And I came back and went by there, and I seen a lot of police around, so I just took off. I went to my cousin's house. I went to our cousin down in Stone. I went to Stones, and I asked him, could I spend the night? And I told him what was happening. He said, yeah. He said, man, he probably all right, man. So I tried to call the hospitals and everything. They didn't give me no information. And I never forget it. I was sleeping and I was dreaming. I kept hearing deep, like the beeper, like deep, deep, like the heart monitor. And then I heard it go deep.
Dang.
Listen, I jumped up. I said, he dead. That's the words come out of my mouth. I got up, knocked on my cousin's door. I said, cuz, he dead. It finally dawned on me. But I didn't know. They said, man, how you know? So he laughed, cuz, you all right, lay down. So I couldn't sleep. Happened our uncle come over there, Uncle Al come over there. And he tell me, he say, I tell him what happened. And he said, wow. He said, well, what you want to do? I said, I'm gonna turn myself in. He said, you sure you want to turn? I said, yeah, I got to, because but he said, but let's first find out. We don't know nothing. He came to you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was in the car. He came to you, and when he came out the house, I seen it in his face. He said, yeah, I just did that.
Let me tell you about that night when I was with Velma and we had went to the grocery store, right? She took me to the grocery store that night. And she was talking to me like she always do, saying, me, you, Corey, we got to get it together. We got to stop all this arguing, stop all this fighting. And when we was in the grocery store, just a man out the blue came up to us and looked at Velma and was like, you need prayer. Can I pray for you? Just out the blue. She didn't know him. I didn't know him. And so he prayed right there standing in the grocery store. And so then when we pulled up to the house, we was pulling up, and Ken was pulling up at the same time we was pulling up. And so Ken told us, said, what had happened. Corey had been stabbed. He didn't tell the whole story because me and Velma I didn't even get out the car, I don't think. We rushed to the hospital. But yeah, that's how that happened.
Since you asked me that, I never knew what really happened. So when y'all went to the hospital, what happened?
When we went to the hospital, we went in a room. They took us in a room. They didn't tell us he was gone. And of course, we was asking, just let us see him. Just let us talk to him. Because I already knew. Remember, I told you me and Corey had been discussing, if something should happen to us, I just want time to ask for forgiveness. I want time to ask God to forgive me. So I wanted to get back there so bad because I wanted to say that prayer with him. I wanted to get back there and I just wanted to pray with him and ask for forgiveness and all that. But we weren't there that long once we got there. I think we was there maybe 10, 15 minutes, if that. And then the doctor came, and when he walked up, I just lost it. And Velma just was like, no. Because it was just on his face, And so they said, we're going to clean him up and we'll let y'all come back there. And then they let us come back there to see him and stuff. That was it. That's sad.
Yeah. But, and see, a lot of times, that's what hurt the most, because you don't know how bad you hurt people when you think violently. I remember seeing my mama like that. And then, I would like to see you cry. I want to see you cry, isn't it? Yeah, it's been hard, but like I said, you make a mistake, man, and it hurts you the rest of your life, because you never can take that pain away from people. It's been over 30 some years and we still got pain from this. Cause I look at my nephews, my nieces, they look just like them. And they hurt, and they ain't gonna never get off that hurt. But God put us through things, or allow us to go through the things, and once we go through them, we got to just find our self-value.
And you can't let those things that happen in life break you, because things just, if you living, things gonna happen. You're gonna have some heartaches, you're gonna have some pain, you're gonna make mistakes, and you need God to keep you strong, keep you in all that stuff. Even when you don't even know that he's the one that's actually keeping you, he is the one keeping you. Because some people, they can't, they stuff like this,
it'll take them out. You know, so that's the only difference. Just even though whatever we've been through in our life, I always say, thank God that mama and daddy sent us to church, even when we didn't know about church. You know what I'm saying? So a seed was being planted. I always say about Betty, TT, that's what we called her, but I always say that she took time. Remember, she was our choir director, the
Yeah.
kids choir director. We would go over their house and she would have choir practice with us. Remember the song, I got over, my soul looked back and that song always remind me of Betty, but that's true. My soul looked back and wonder how I got over, because it was God. That's it. And it's still gonna be sad times. I still get sad sometimes. I think about mama, because I think about, when I got a friend mama's age, and I always look at her and think, how mama would have been at her age. And my friend, she's real jazzy. Cindy, she real jazzy, and we real good friends, and we talk. She tell the truth. But yeah, you're gonna have those sad moments. That's life.
Yeah, and like I said, the living is the problem, not the problem. The living is the pain. So as I once I found that out, I turned myself in and went from there. I stayed in the county jail, and I had a dream in the county jail. God was always giving me, they call it deja vu or premonition, but I had a dream, and it's a guy that was in there, and he bear witness to it. I said, man, I had a dream that they gave me 25 years. And the people came, they take you to quarantine and come in there and say, so everybody like Swanson, Joseph, pack up, you riding out the quarantine. And I jumped, and everybody jumped up and said, he ain't been sentenced yet, he ain't went to court. So I tell my man this, and he was like, dang, that's how cold. So we go on months and months. I actually moved down to another cell, which was a big mistake, but I moved out of that cell. And maybe by like a month or two, the guard come in there and holler my name, Swanson, pack it up, we're going to Jackson. And everybody jumped up and said, they said, he ain't been sentenced yet. And Franz called my name. He said, Sean, that's out cold. I told him, he was up and hurt, because you're going to get up anyway, because you hear people calling his name. He said, man, that's out cold. So I done had a lot of, premonitions and stuff like that. But I actually got 20 years, and I ended up going to Jackson Penitentiary.
Do you know that night the police came and talked to me too? Yeah, the police came and talked to me, and that night, my emotions was all over the place, and I was mad, and they wanted me to identify you. So it must have been the next night, the day you turned yourself in, or was they looking for you? I think they were looking for you, and they had a picture of you, and I was so mad I couldn't even look at your picture. I was like, I don't want to look at them. And this right before that you had turned yourself in, but after you turned yourself in, I don't know if somebody called. No, Uncle Al must have told me that he was going to take you down there. Did Daddy go?
He wasn't. He wasn't. He was in Alabama somewhere. He wasn't here then.
Just Uncle Al.
Remember, he was down south.
Huh?
I think he was down south.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, yeah, because we didn't see him. Remember, we didn't ever see him. He was down south, I believe.
Right. Okay, go ahead and say what you're saying.
I went to trial. You was
Why
there.
did they do that with you though? Why did they send you off before you even had a trial?
No, you missed the point. I didn't get sent off.
Oh, okay.
I had a dream that that happened, and everybody jumped up and said, he ain't been sentenced yet. And
Oh,
the police went and checked their board, and it was right. You get what I'm saying now? No,
yeah.
I wrote out when I got sentenced a couple of weeks. But like I said, I went to Jackson, met a lot of characters. What I mean by that is I learned quick that I had to be into myself because I noticed a lot of people talking all the time, trying to find something to do to kill the time. And I was thinking, I'm in this cell. I can't do that. What am I gonna do? And I for many, many years, I tried to do the whole 20 years in one day. And then it just dawned on me. One day I woke up and it was like 10 gone, 12 gone. And then started knocking it down. And I started thinking, man, I can't wait till I get to 4. I can't wait till I get to 5. Then I get to 5, et cetera, et cetera. But going through Jackson quarantine is an experience. They got tiers. I forgot how many they have, but you can't, people have jumped off, killed themselves, all kind of stuff. Excuse me.
Ain't that something? Daddy was in that same prison.
And excuse me, y'all. And it's filthy. Mice. It's cold. It almost looked like Alcatraz, just bars. But that's at that time, in Michigan especially, they had already sat down and played chess with the game, meaning that they had already planned that this is going to be a big business. And so they started building these prisons to look like project complexes. If you look at prisons now, and people have said this to me, I think you've even said, it looks nice out here, like a college campus.
Yeah, dorms. They look like I went to visit. I forgot who I went to visit, but might have been, was it Eric? Might have been you. It had to be you. I came to visit, and it was just,
yeah, it was. It was you and Jamari.
yeah, like a dorm.
Yeah, but it's built just like the prison housing projects, and you know, it's set up in cells or cubes, meaning that it might be 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 8 to 10 people in a cube, and you get your little appliances, you get, your money for TV and workout and this, that, and the other. But for me, I was so young and hot-headed that I got into a lot of unnecessary stuff. And that
You was in like lockup a few times, like the whole 24-hour.
Man, I've been in a hole. I did 6 months in the hole. And the hole is this, where you in a cell for 24 hours. I was in there 24 hours, no break. You got to stay in a cell. It's not as big as your bedroom. It's probably big as, how would I say it? Nothing comes to my mind, but it's half of what your bedroom would be with 2 people in there.
Like a small bathroom.
Very. It's built with the beds on the wall and with a narrow hall about that big. And then you got a desk right here. Actually, this is about how wide the room is. Y'all can't see my hands, but it's very, very small.
You touch it wall to wall?
No, you can't touch wall. No, Jackson and Marquette, you could. See, because I've been to see Marquette is a max. I've been in level 5. I mean, I done had some situations, and I didn't, but I used to tell you, I said, when I go to the hole for something I did, I ain't calling. I said, but when I'm in here for something I did, I don't worry about it because I know it's a blessing coming. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So the hole for me, and as you said, when I was younger, I played with the sticks and did all that other stuff we were talking about. That's what, like I said, it built me for what was coming in my life because I could I can introvert so good. And that's what got me to coping It was my being able to introvert away from everything. But, you know, I went through a situation where the police was trying to set me up, actually set me up. But the lady, they call them hearing officers. She was like, I'm so tired of this officer. She flat out told me this. This is this common thing. Like, this is what he get everybody with. So they normally don't go against their own for nothing. She said, I'm throwing this out. And she said, do me a favor. Don't go laughing and saying nothing to him, but going back to your unit. It was a white lady too. He was so livid. He went to he's a correctional officer in the unit. He went all the way to the hearings building and talked to that lady about that. And when he came out that building, I didn't do what she said. I'm smirking at him. You think it's funny? You think it's funny? I'll lock your ass up right now. So, I had a mouth. B, you ain't gonna do nothing to me. That's insolence. Keep going. You want threatening behavior? That's because you got to go to hole when you do threatening behavior. But insolence tickets where you got to stay in your room on LOP. Man, I had so much LOP and top lock, they call it, where you can't come out your cell and go to nothing but, well, top lock, you can't come out for nothing. They got to feed you in your cell. But you can't come out to nothing, go to lunch at chow hall. No store, no none of that. I used to stay on that so much, and I had an account full of money, but I was bugging, I didn't care. And I never forget this. This is how you end up getting off my back. One morning, I'm pushing, you got a button in your door, emergency button, like that you push in case you need an emergency. But they tell you, like, say, call outs for 8, you got call outs, you might have to go to school, you might have to go to the doctor, whatever, you get an itinerary to tell you what you got to do for the next day. And I had law library, I go to law library every morning. So I punched my button, he popping everybody's door but mine. Me being young and wild, I'm hollering. He said, he opened my door and said, you tree jumping bitch. I said, what you call me? Brr, your mama. And the counselor heard it. And she said, hold up. She said, Officer Gunn, I remember his name, Gunn, punk ass. But Gunn, she said, Officer Gunn, get in my office. Mr. Swanson, you stay right there. Now, like I said, I've been fooling. I had a little drink too. Drink every now and then in there too. You had to make you a little spud. I'm young, I'm 23, 24 years old. So I had a little drink. So she checked him, called me to her office. She said, Mr. Swanson, you been drinking? I said, no, I ain't been drinking. She do a damn lie. She was a sister. You a lie. But I'm gonna tell you now, I'm not going against my staff, but he was wrong. And I'm gonna get in his ass. But I'm also gonna get in your ass. You're not going to law, you're not going nowhere. Lay down and stay in your room until the shift is over with. And I mean it, don't come out. I went and laid down. He got off of work, I came out. The next day, he didn't say, he didn't look at me. He eventually started saying, how you doing, Mr. Swanson? How you doing? And I seen this officer years and years later, and he came to me, he was cracking up. He was like, man, you gave me hell. And but I got older now, and he seen this. I was, I said, man, we young to do this stuff, man. But you was on that crazy razor blade tip. That ain't funny. How many people you done set up? That ain't funny, right?
Right.
Set people up. I mean, you catch cases if you got the wrong thing. Yeah, so I had a lot of problems with the officers. I had a couple of problems with some guys where we didn't have some real serious situations. But like I was saying in the beginning about the homosexuality, I was going to Nation of Islam service in there. I was going to church, and while I was in there, and no offense to nobody, church wasn't shocking my conscience for me. And now we had some good preachers in there too. Some of the best preachers are in prison too, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all that.
Yeah, I believe that.
They got some fire in there, because the spirit is really trying to connect with God, and we don't have a lot of distraction and things that take us out of that situation. But for me, when I went to the Nation of Islam and I started hearing about the white man as far as his plight to destroy us. And, you know, they call him the devil. Elijah Muhammad tell us not to call him devil. So we don't do that anymore. But I didn't like it. I'm not coming to this, talking about leaving up white folks, and white folks ain't never done nothing. And as sure as I've been in prison, I start seeing it. You don't see it so much out here because you don't be around people. Blacks sit on one side, whites sit on one side. Bottom line. Now you do got blacks and whites that sit together. It's not based on that. But for the mass majority, each kind, Mexicans, everybody sit with they kind. So you have to think that what it used to, now they sit you down like kids. But you have to think everybody has some kind of thought, or underlying understanding about the next race of people, or what they want to call it. You know, messing all the niggas this and niggas messing, they have this, and you get to really see this type of stuff. I've been all the way up north here.
That's real. That's being honest. It's true.
Yeah, it's real. See, and that's why a lot of people, I talk to Bridget, my girl, I tell her a lot of time, I could tell her what's gonna happen before it happened. And she'd be like, dang, y'all. I said, it ain't that. It's just that I done been around serial killers. I done been around rapists, child pedophilias, murderers. Everything you can think of, I done been around. I'm talking about I met the guy who killed all the girls in Ann Arbor. And he's a punk, not a fag punk. He'll kill a woman, but if a man come up to him, he'll curl up like a ball. With some little balls and them little water bugs, he'll curl up like a water bug. But
I tell you not to underestimate people. People think because somebody a certain way, you don't know what a person's true intentions are.
But you know what's so crazy? And just like myself, it's a lot of intellectual, smart, intelligent people in there. And whatever reasons for one split decision, just like with me, had I not never went to prison, I wasn't headed for prison in the sense of where I was thinking I'm going to kill somebody. Maybe I was going to go there anyway by my ways, but that one mistake took me out of my life for 20 years, cost somebody else their life. And so understanding that a person has to realize that all the people that's incarcerated, many of them just made a mistake, went nuts. You got some cold people in there, but the ones I met that was like real killers, they had 1,000 bodies on them. And some of them was getting back out. So they didn't catch them for the body they was charged. So, and you could tell by their demeanor. They didn't walk around, they didn't brag. They were very polite. But everybody knew, oh yeah, man, he's body dude. Now I've seen some of them guys that body dudes go to war, and they go to war hard. That's another one more thing I'm gonna say. How much time we got left?
1 minute and 42 seconds.
Okay. I remember they had a big prison riot on the yard, Pontiac in Detroit. Guys was fighting. And they were trying to get me into that mess because I was from Pontiac, which Pontiac in Detroit ain't number like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Ride your bike up in there, but I looked at it out the window like a little cow. I looked out the window. I didn't get into it because it wasn't my beef, even though they're my homeboys and I would have rolled, but I was always by myself. I wasn't hanging with nobody.
That was a smart decision, though. That was good. You did. Did anybody get hurt in that riot? Did anybody die?
No. Officer got killed in Jackson though, but what ended up happening was they shut the yard down. The yard used to have over 500 people on it. And I was there when they changed it. They don't let but certain people come out at a certain time. And then they had another big riot where they took over the prison there. So this was Adrian. And so I done been some places like, it done got thick. But inshallah, we can go on and get off into some more things about the transformation that my life was while I was in there. But my fool's advice for the day, y'all, because we're short on time, is basically that if you don't think for yourself, somebody else will. And what that simply means is this: I stopped thinking right. And so now the Department of Corrections said, this is what you're going to do. That's what we think you need to do. You go to bed at 10 o'clock. You go on a chow hall when we want you to go there. You better not piss a shit until we tell you to do that. So that's my food advice for the day, man. You know.
My food advice is to forgive. Live life forgiving. God forgives us all. Every one of us has done something that we regretted or that we're ashamed of. There's no one living this earth that has not. So don't, it shouldn't be a big deal to see people forgiving one another, people reconciling. That should be normal. And it should be from the heart. And that means not even bringing it up, or wanting to get a sorry or none of that. It's just all love. That's my food advice.
Well, y'all know, man, the next time we hope to see y'all. We got some things in store for y'all. I got a couple of guys I want y'all to meet. And these guys haven't had any criminal record. They lived in the same block I lived on, went through the same experiences. And some of them went through it and changed their life. I'm talking about at a young age. And some of them never had to, they still never had to see the penitentiary walls. And they stand up guys and beautiful brothers, man. I'm going to say, you know, we going to get to that. Well, I'm going to say I salute y'all.